A lot of the specific directorial skills I learned from Mr. Tom Cavanaugh, who's smiling because he knew it.
Stop it.
It's
Hey,
true.
question.
It's so true.
She's so nice. She's too nice. So you guys, I would be like, when I first started acting. Say it.
But Tom's an excellent communicator. He would have these ideas and really inspire and bring everyone together to make a moment happen.
Directing The Flash was always such an incredible pleasure because of these guys. Like they're just, you get to sit with them and watch the skills, and also I feel like, you become in a strange way a little bit like an athletic team. And when you're directing, you're just trying to move the team down the field, and you just kind of watch them go and kind of, in a strange way, stay out of their way. I think sometimes you'd have directors. I think you had this thing where it's like people come in and they don't know Flash the way you know Flash. They don't know the tempo and the tenor of what you're going to do in the scene in Act 2 or Act 3, but you do. If it's like at the West household, it's like, we're going to get to the other thing. And sometimes you had to mold them into place a little bit. And what was nice about having one of our own, when Danielle and I would direct it, it's like, okay, there's no outside influence. It's just the team.
Well, at a point you could walk onto set, you had that person on lock, you had no questions. At what point did you feel like you had your person?
You get
Great
close up at
question.
Candace is like, you're gonna say anytime that Iris had to act with the Wells. I know, but try and find something else.
I don't know, I think for me it happened pretty early, and that has nothing to do with me and everything to do with like the bond and chemistry we were all able to create with each other very early on. I don't know, I even with Grant and our scenes with Grant and scenes with Jesse L. Martin, who played my dad, like those came so naturally to me very quickly. And I don't know what that is other than sometimes just chemistry and trust. And it was such a great environment for us to like easily fall into these characters quickly. I don't know how you guys felt with your
I agree. I think for me too, it was the same, where it was really early, and then he just changed a lot and evolved a lot. But it was always just, I never felt like I was trying to find him. I always felt like I was bringing a lot of myself to him, and was just kind of following the guidelines of the writers within our story, and it was just kind of very natural. And I grew as the character grew.
I am having a memory.
No, I was gonna say it was extremely similar for me. I think for me, like coming into that experience as a young actor, it was my tendency to want to like objectify the thing and be like, okay, let me see if I can present what's like on the page. But then I watched these guys just like play and get creative, and I took my cue from them, and that let me have more fun and get out of my head. And the more that I did that, the more I just kind of surrendered to like just trusting that it was already there, that I didn't need to put anything on or present anything. So, and that happened pretty early on.
I just unlocked a memory of shooting the pilot, and our pilot director, David Nutter. I remember being so nervous and I was so scared, and I just felt like, what am I doing here? Like, how did I end up with this role? And are they sure? And I'm definitely getting fired by the end of the pilot and recast. And I genuinely felt that way the entire time shooting the pilot. And I remember David Nutter like finally pulling me aside and being like, you are here for a reason. Like, we chose you on purpose, and you have to trust in that. And then just something kind of clicked in me where I stopped buying into the insecurity of it, and it's just like, okay, well, they put a lot of money into hiring me and putting me here, so I might as well just like trust it and go. So it happened pretty early on, and I think I'm just unlocking that memory that I think David Nutter like really helped me move past that.
Well, and Candace, one thing I'm curious about for you, you've talked in the past rather, about how Iris, and I mean, you don't even have to, like, it's just on the screen. Iris went through a whole lot on that show. She went through shows, and you really only get one chance to get it right. You don't get multiple takes. How challenging was that transition for you, if at all?
Well, I got some time.
Yeah, you had some time.
I got some nice unemployment time to prepare.
But still, to jump back in, it's jumping back into something different.
Yeah, no, it was definitely different. It was more of a challenge than I anticipated, I'll be honest. My ego was like, I got this. This is what I was born to do. It's in my bones. Let's go to rehearsal, and it kicked my ass. I was devoting almost every second of my life to just rehearsing, maintaining it. Like, it was in a very specific place vocally that I was not used to singing in, and it was very demanding. And it really is like, we were actually talking about this, like, your body really does acclimate.
Well, it's a muscle. It's a muscle, like your voice. So, but yeah, doing 8 shows a week, specifically in a musical, is you can't really do anything else while you're doing it. You have to really, I mean, if you don't want to miss shows, and if you're not like a freak of nature, like Jeremy Jordan can probably do whatever he wants and then go sing 8 shows a week. But like a normal person has to go home after the show and like stay very hydrated all day long and get as much sleep as possible. And both of us were doing it with young kids, right? You were already had a kid, or were they? No, they had it. Yes, you had a young baby, and I had a toddler and another one on the way. And like, you just kind of have to make everything about being able to get on stage and do the thing. But it's a muscle. And by like in rehearsals, I was like, I'll never be able to do this. I'm gonna probably miss 6 shows a week. And then by the end of the run, like, you'd feel tired and realize, oh, I can still do it though. And so it got easier as it went.
Can I ask you a quick question about that? Both of you guys, like,
This was months into my run, and we were at like a Barnes & Noble, our soundtrack had just come out, and we were signing CDs at Barnes & Noble, and I'm sitting next to Greg Edelman, who was in the show with me. I've told you this.
Yeah.
And like almost every night of Water for Elephants, there was someone in the front row with a Star Labs t-shirt on. Like, almost every night. At least 4 shows a week. And someone came to the soundtrack like signing with a Star, like, well, a bunch of people came with Star Labs shirts on. And Greg is next to me at the table and asked, not me, doesn't ask me, asked the person, like, what is it? Is this like a theater,
Broadway camp?
Yeah, a Broadway camp? We haven't. And I was like, and I stopped everything. I was like, wait, you're serious? Are you serious? We're like 6 months into the run. I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, just every night there's someone now, and I feel like it's this new theater school I haven't heard of that just make you stars. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was like my favorite moment of the entire run. Like,
Starland.
the nicest, sweetest.
Sign your kids up for Starland.
Yeah, it was so good. Attached to it. I wish we weren't attached to it, but I don't know. I feel like like sports-related ones are always funnier to me because I'm like a sports guy. Like whenever like someone's been eliminated from the playoffs, when it's a team I don't like at least. But I don't know. I mean, it's been used. For a while there, it was sent to me like once a week. Like,
I was gonna say, who made you aware of this meme the first time?
oh, I don't remember. I mean, it's sent to me by people I'm hearing from for the first time in like a couple years. That like, because it reaches different corners of like suddenly someone sees the meme because it's about something they care about. It's touched every corner of the internet. I feel like so. I mean, I've joked like when I die, that will be on my tombstone. I feel like I'm more famous for that than anything else I've ever done.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah, I think.
When Grant dies, there's gonna be a photo of Tom just thrown on the baseline at his actual riverside.
Yeah.
wow, that's heavy. I don't know. I don't know if I can take credit for Iris West making a pathway for other actresses in that genre. I think
Sure you can. Take
there's
credit.
been so many before me, Halle Berry, and there's just been so many. I just feel like it came at a time that was really important, and I was at the time hyper aware of it. I think when other people weren't. I knew at the time like this was revolutionary and that I was not gonna have a good time because of that in a lot of ways, but I also felt a huge like responsibility to stay on the show and try to give the best representation I could. Because I felt like the show would last the test of time. And I wanted to leave some sort of like mark as a Black woman on such a huge, important story, which is the story of Barry Allen and Iris West and all these great people, and I wanted there to be like a really, really great representation for a strong Black woman who's also seen as beautiful and desirable and kind-hearted and strong and you know, has her own agency, and we don't get to see a lot of well-rounded Black women like that on television. At least at the time when the show started, I would go in for auditions, and it was always like the best friend to the lead female. You know, that's a lot of what I was getting. And so when it came in for me to come in for Iris West, I was like, they want to put a Black woman as the lead female to a superhero show? Like, what in the world are they thinking? Like, and it was just revolutionary at the time for them to be doing that. And so I felt really honored to have been chosen for that. And then I felt a huge responsibility to like make it something, you know, that stood the test of time. So I just feel grateful.
Give him a tight shot.
Everybody.
All right, so just
Ready, and he's coming in. Action! He's getting close. He's getting close. Look behind you.